actually probably going to smash the criminal gangs. Now, he wrote an article in The Sun, fair enough. I have to say, he writes worse than ChatGPT. Like, he writes in these weird single sentences. I mean,
So he writes like, I am for that. Make it simple, understandable for the
also, the odds that he wrote that are incredibly slim, and the odds of one of his secretaries spending more than 5 minutes writing that are incredibly slim.
I think that's good. I think make it simple, no jargon, simple, easy to understand. Because this is he claims to have written this.
Let's read out what it says though. And I will urge them to work with Britain to smash the vile criminal groups that profit from illegal migration. Every week, vulnerable people are overloaded onto boats on the coast of France. Infants, children, pregnant mothers, the smugglers do not care. They're making a fortune breaching our borders. I think, yeah, it does a little bit, but it's a short segment going, this is what I want to do, this is why. It's not a gather round and hear. It's
not getting into the deep metaphysical things of shall we get rid of like criminal gangs.
I'm pretty confident he's already written a book if you want to, read his writing style in bigger context.
We are sponsored by Keir Starmer, 20% off. We are also sponsored by Big Tobacco as well, also here. Marlboro's.
Also by
buy more.
Mikey talks then. Yeah. Former terribly and boring. Yeah, exactly. It's incredibly boring and very low grade. But he is going to bring about this border security command, which is going to shut down gang smuggling routes and dismantles their networks. I think he probably will do that, actually. So, fair enough.
You've got word from Tone. Up on high.
Well,
that will undercut reform.
No, it's not just that. I mean, yeah, he definitely did get that. But it's not just that. Keir Starmer is the letter of the law legalistic bureaucrat. Right? He was a lawyer. He
ran the CPS, didn't he?
Exactly. Right. So
there were a few laws that he wasn't applying to certain people.
But this sort of thing is totally.
I'm not sure what he means by that. Would you have any clue?
No, I do. I think there's a lot of kind of someone committed a crime whilst he ran the CPS, therefore or whatever it is, right? Yeah, therefore it's his fault, which baffling. But yeah,
off the grid, right? No, the person smuggling, drug smuggling criminal gangs, Keir Starmer will have absolutely no problem destroying them because not only are what they're doing intrinsically bad, but they're also defying the letter of the law. Whereas opening the borders and bringing in millions of people legally, totally fine. It's done by the letter of the law. That's the way Keir Starmer looks at things.
So he might stop the boats, but you'll still get millions more people flooding our towns.
They'll still be legally here and not illegally here.
I mean, I would prefer them to be here legally.
Yeah, I think
we can know who's in. That's probably a good idea.
Yeah, I didn't pause this because great. That sounds like an amazing plan. If we can stop the illegal migration and promote legal migration, fucking brilliant, right?
Clearly understand from these people, they want to lower migration. In general, migration want to be lower. I could easily pick that up from them.
Yeah, I can understand why people want to do that.
Deal with illegal immigration first. From them onwards, we can then deal with it from there on.
And also there is strong evidence to suggest that the better your legal immigration system, the less illegal immigration you get, right? Because people who are fleeing their country and are willing to do it illegally, normally quite desperate scenarios, right? They're not doing it because they fancy a holiday or they prefer the English weather, that's for sure. But they're desperate, and if they had a legal way, they would probably do it. Yeah.
My thing is, because it's illegal immigration at the moment, this is, again, back of the hand, I cannot guarantee these stats are accurate, but I heard something along the lines like it's like 12 grand per person on a dinghy boat to get across, which is an insane amount of money for them to. They fled the country, or they don't have 12 grand. So the ways they're going to pay for it is either like they're drug smuggling from there to there, or they are like, well, now you're here, we're going to want to take a cut.
But exactly, and then
illegal crime.
But and think about this for a second, right? Like, think about the desperation you would need, right, to want to leave the country, that you would pay 12 grand to then, if you get caught, you go back, right? 12 grand to just literally cross the water.
Well, I
You
think
know,
it's very,
that's
very, very few amounts
crazy.
actually paying that amount of money. Is majority, I think,
No,
is
of
going to be
course.
smuggling to raise that money.
Yeah, of course. But do you see what I mean? Like, think about the desperation, for people.
I mean, there definitely are people who aren't. They're desperate to come in, but it's not for like humanitarian reasons. There are definitely some people who will be here for these sort of criminal gang things, and that's I don't know. It's hard to say.
Absolutely, yeah.
It's just.
And I think that's what we need to cut down on. Right? That's why I stay taking a hard stance on it. We don't want criminals into our country. We need to stop them. We can't have them coming over. And it's interesting, really, since as our immigration laws have gotten harsher, as we've had governments that are more anti-immigration, our immigration has switched. It's grown. The amount of immigration we have has grown drastically, and it's gone from high-skilled, mainly people who come from the EU, to low-skilled people from outside of the EU.
Yes, definitely agree on that.
That's a negative change. If you want people coming over, you want high-skilled ones.
Well, I've always seen it as exploitative. I've seen people who've justified this level, like massive level of immigration, this sort of stuff, where it's like, oh, it's fine because they'll immigrate here and they'll do like DoorDash and other jobs I don't want to do. That is disgusting, I'd say. Are we so decadent in the West where we're going to hire, you're not even supposed to even be here, but we're fine with you being here because I can't even bother to leave my house to get food. You come to my house, you deliver the food, and fuck off. I don't want to even speak to you.
Yeah. And I know I'm not a spokesperson for Labour here, but they have said before that they believe we are over reliant on immigration as an economy. So the concept that they want to cut down on illegal immigration. They believe we're over reliant on immigration as it is, and therefore they're going to let in millions of immigrants. It's how are you drawing that? How are you making that connection?
Yeah, it's going to be difficult.
So
then Dilly Hussein can say you've got no right to complain about it.
Exactly. And in fact, the Border Force has already begun just simply taking migrants back to France. This could have been done at any time, and apparently they came out and said this isn't a change of policy. And it's like, what do you mean this wasn't a change of policy? You didn't do this under the Conservatives. So why are you suddenly able to do it now? And what it is that the Labour Party have the keys to the kingdom. They are part of the liberal managerial global order, and therefore the civil service and all the institutions of state just cooperate, whereas they didn't cooperate with the Conservatives because Conservatives are idiots.
The senior civil servants then, so let's assume Priti Patel and Suella Braverman did ask them to do this, if that is the case, and then they just simply refused to.
Yeah.
If that is the case, which I'm not even entirely convinced
that won't be the case.
Say it is, then those senior civil servants, the buck stops with them. They're guilty of that crime then.
You would think, but Suella Braverman at a NatCon speech said, well,
Guilty of which crime? What, not deporting them back? Is that what they're saying?
Yeah, who the fuck knows? A police officer who doesn't arrest someone isn't a criminal. But there's truth in what they're saying. Again, I think a lot of this is kind of alluding to some sort of deep state that Keir Starmer's part of, which laughable. But I think that the idea that there is it's about cooperation, right? We can't go go back to France because France won't let them in unless they believe we're willing to cooperate. Right, so it's diplomacy.
We return them to France and then pay France to not send them back again.
Well, there's levels of diplomacy, and right now the French want to be friends with Keir Starmer, definitely.
Yes, for sure, I could see that definitely in the part.
Whereas the last government, we did Brexit. No one in Europe wanted to be friends with us, and yeah, definitely.
Well, because from what I hear in my French political news circle, there's been a lot of talk for about the past 15 years about Brexit. About French exit.
Yeah.
They've been talking about it a lot, so I was sort of confused as why they weren't more cooperative with the sort of Brexit thing, or giving them really good deals and all that sort of stuff.
I think while there is still a lot of talk about it, the majority of people don't want it, and especially the majority of people in government. And I mean that's probably the biggest reason why Brexit tore our politics apart so much, was that the majority of politicians didn't want it.
I think it would probably be even higher now, because at the moment we've left Brexit and we're not doing the best. Is it completely Brexit? But like, it's definitely not.
So there's two facts here that I want to bring up about Brexit that are quite interesting. So firstly, if we were to hold a referendum today, polling shows it would be a massive win for Remain, not for Leave. And the other one is that if we took the results, right, of the Brexit referendum, literally the exact votes, not including, new young people that are able to vote now, literally, let's say everyone made the exact same choice, right? Just based off the amount of people that have died since then, the vote would be Remain. Just based off people that are no longer alive.
Okay.
Literally, if everyone voted the same. So that is really interesting, I think, because everyone goes, oh, well, we voted for it as a country, but would we vote for it now as a country?
Well, I sort of, my whole thing about, oh yeah, because you're over 65, you shouldn't be able to vote. Like those people, they're the ones who've lived with the EU for a while. They're the people who I think they've got more of knowledge on it. Does it affect the younger voters more? Yes, but they don't know as much as that's why it's like. It's why we're voting.
I don't think I'm not saying that to disrespect like older people's votes and stuff. I'm saying that just as when people say, oh, but the country wants this, do they? The country now doesn't, largely.
Yes.
But I'm not necessarily for going back into the EU. It's just interesting. There's massive rhetoric that, well, we voted for it. Conversation over.
We made a please let's give it a couple of years, lie in it, see what happens, see if we can bounce back. If we keep on getting worse and worse and worse, like next 15 years, then maybe I think we open the dialogue up again.
The thing is, I don't want to go into a whole EU debate, mainly because I'm very pro-Remain, but I just think it's interesting because anyway, the point about this was we are Labour is a government now that wants to work more with Europe, and that does mean it's easier to send immigrants back to Europe. There's quid pro quo with everything.
Let's not work with Europe is a stupid idea because they're literally right there.
Exactly. They are our closest allies.
What we're going to do is say, let's ignore like the entirety of the European Union and instead let's go for like America or Greenland. Let's go really far away. It's just not going to be effective.
Yep, 100%.
Whether we're in the EU, it's understandable.
Yeah.
Well, everyone's blaming the blob or the institutions, and that's not really true. I was prevented from doing my job by Sunak. Sunak expressly, she calls him out expressly, saying he intervened in her plans to do exactly this sort of thing. So, no, it was the traitorous nature of the Conservative Party that got in the way.
Well, isn't it that senior civil servants can only be removed by the Prime Minister?
Yes.
Yeah, so Sunak refused to do that.
Sunak was the person blocking it. She called him out by name. She said, look, the institutions were, of course, against us, but we were the government. We could have done something if we wanted. Sunak expressly...
Who were they saying this? Sorry, said this? Was it Suella Braverman?
Either that or Priti Patel, one of the two. I can't remember now.
Oh, okay. Cool.
So
she remained Home Secretary for months under him, though.
Yeah.
In Priti Patel one.
At least she ended up pulling out eventually.
Like resign out of protest.
Yeah, and I think this immigration isn't an easy fix. I don't believe it's some conspiracy that Conservatives are forcing it, but I think it'd be foolish to say that it wasn't like it was a tool that they used. The fact that there was small vote immigration, it was a tool they used to win elections.
Yeah,
definitely.
Well, I saw a boat myself, because I used to work right on the coast. I used to see the occasional boat, and I used to see sometimes I'd serve customers, and some of them would be border patrol people. They'd be out there,
right? Yeah,
dealing with that sort of stuff. So I was able to see it, but I think very, very few people, especially very few Conservative voters, actually saw the effects or system actually in person.
Yeah, no, exactly. It's still a minute amount of people. I remember when the day Boris Johnson declared a national emergency because 600 people had entered our country. 600. We are a country of 66 million people, and 600 people came in, and he went, we're being flooded.
Again, I think this sort of calling an emergency is a kind of, it's a political point. It's there to bring press.
It's there to win votes, yeah.
But I'm looking here, just did the math. If you times up by 365, that number was the same for in years. That's 200,000 people per year. At what point do we then go, that is a bit much?
Well, we've experienced as a country 1% population growth since 1945, more or less year on year. Been a couple of years where more, but when we've had more, we've had less the next couple of years. So it averages out to 1% growth a year, which 200,000 is still less than 1% growth. So
it would be, yes. Especially because we do have.
We're not. That's not even our normal rate of population growth, and we're going. This is too much.
Of course, native Britons, they have a sub-replacement. I think it's 1.8 birth rate. So
right, okay.
Actually, if the borders went to 0, we would decrease. I'm not sure. Maybe if decreasing it might help because the whole thing of like what's it?
No.
Like,
we've
go on, you go.
No, so I was just going to say we've developed on 1% of land. 1% of land is built on in the UK, but This idea that we're suffocating and overcrowded is ludicrous.
Housing is also brought up, actually. I think we should go on to that.
Yes,
Okay.
yeah.
I can't remember the order of this thing. Watched it a while ago.
But yeah, so
Okay, right.
I still love her speech,
There-
which was, but I get sub. I suck. I failed. Support me.
yeah,
That was the speech in sum.
she is unfortunately the best the Conservatives have. But and I met her as well at NatCon. She seemed like a really nice person. She does seem on side. She's just a part of the system, right? So she's operating within those limits. But yeah, so 70 migrants were caught crossing one day. So Border Force just returned to France. Shows it is possible. We should just
Wait, so it says 70 were caught, but it says here on the front that they only returned 13 people.
Yeah. So yeah, because people have the right to claim asylum. They have the right to claim asylum, and then we process them.
I would
That
think
is,
that is like you were like a criminal.
Military.
Oh,
They have no grounds to claim for asylum or
okay.
whatever. So a lot of this rhetoric, right? Illegal immigration. I mean, even the words illegal immigration annoys me. There is no illegal way of entering a country. I could get on my paddleboard and I could paddle to France right now, show them my passport if I get stopped and go, yeah, see, I'm all good, right? I could then walk up to a proper place and go, yeah, I'm good, right? There is no illegal way to enter a country, right?
I think you're. I don't.
There's illegality in whether you can stay, whether you have the right to be in that country. But the act of entering the country isn't the crime, and especially with asylum. That's the whole reason we have asylum laws, is people can come here, they can go, I want to claim asylum, and then we go, okay, we're going to hear your case out, review it.
I mean, yes, I think granting asylum is one of the key tenets that we should always maintain, because if people need it, then we'll be good. Like, I'll always go back to World War II. There was a massive outcry for people trying to immigrate here, and we did say no to quite a few. We did let a lot of people in, but we didn't. We said no to a lot of people. But in hindsight, we should have let in as help.
Yeah, and with this is like basic human decency. Britain is built on respect and decency and politeness and doing the honourable thing.
Yes,
I think housing people that are fleeing from tyranny is an honourable thing.
It would definitely be an honourable thing. I think it would be a shame to the country if we just stopped all asylum sort of stuff.
Exactly. Yeah.
be doing that intrinsically, obviously. But anyway, thousands of prisoners are going to be released. So no. Oh, by the way, on this, no word of what they're actually going to do with the illegals that have already come across under the Conservative tenure. There have been rumours and mutterings of, well, we're going to get them processed as soon as possible. What that probably means is just letting them out, just letting them go, just giving them right to stay.
Stamp.
That is just
It's just the least corporate, least
worst.
Yeah, that's it. Thank you. It is the worst faith argument I've ever heard. They want to speed it up because we have a backlog.
How big that is, but I know it's fucking huge.
If you worked in a cafe, right, you've got a huge queue. You're not just going to start chucking random coffees at people and go, there you go, there you'll have that. But you can be like, right, we're going to take steps. Yeah. But you can be like, right, we're going to take steps to try and reduce this backlog. Right? That doesn't mean I'm just going to stop serving customers and tell them to piss off.
Again, very tempted very often.
Of course.
Stamp.
We're just going to get them all stamped here, and then because they've abandoned the Rwanda plan, which was stupid anyway.
Agreed.
Yeah, I don't know if they're saying Rwanda was stupid or abandoning it was stupid.
I think they say that the Rwanda plan was stupid itself.
Good. Great. Hey, middle ground. We found agreement.
Big graphics saying, "Yay, we fucking win. We win."
But that means
We're not getting our money back on
Yeah,
that
can we get a
one.
rebate from the Rwanda government? No.
No, instantly Sunak gave £490 million to Macron over this, and Macron just let them keep coming. We gave 250 million, something like that, to Rwanda. We're not going to get a refund for that. And
The government just ask for refunds.
Yeah, we can.
Very, very. I assume it's very rare they actually give it, because usually it's like, yeah, thanks for the money.
We're not
immediately.
We're not getting a refund. And I mean, relations with Rwanda have massively broken down, because it is important to know actually that probably one of the bad things that Starmer did do about scrapping the Rwanda plan is the Rwandan government found out this plan was scrapped through English newspapers.
So they opened the telly and went,
There was no
Fuck.
Yeah, literally, yeah. There was no like, right, we're stopping, like, call to them, we're stopping this or anything.
Like 30-day grace or something like that, you know, just deal with it slowly. And
Well, not even a 30-day grace, but they could at least give them a courtesy call and explain why or something, you know.
yeah,
Anyway.
I think it's a bit of a dick move, very much so.
Definitely.
Starmer just comes in and just like, right, no, they're just going to go back. Okay, fine, at least that can be done.
One French cop stabbed one dinghy one time.
Yeah.
Popping it. That cost us 400 odd million pounds, did it?
Yeah, so this is the fast track plans to allow
No, how did this?
90,000 migrants planned for deportation to Rwanda to claim asylum in the UK. Of course they are. Of course they are.
No, okay, again, fast track plans to allowing them to claim asylum, but there's still a
Yeah.
process, so it's not going to instantly let them
Yeah.
in. Will it probably let in a higher
Yeah.
numbers? Probably, because I think
Probably.
they wouldn't allow 90,000 like criminals of criminal gangs to join.
Exactly.
It's not
Exactly. And it's important to know. I mean, like, Rwanda sent one person. Like, it wasn't a thing that we used to get rid of people. It sent one person, and it cost us £300 million.
Jesus.
You know, so it like it wasn't working.